Morning, everyone. Today I'm going to cook up some squashes. I've got 2 of them and I'm rinsing them right now. Okay. All right then. So we'll get busy on this. I washed them. Now let's cut them in half to cook up. I'm off. That stem's giving me trouble there. This is an acorn.
A butternut squash.
Out. Okay. I'm not going to give them another wash. I think they'll be fine. I tell you, I have never used spaghetti squash in my life. This is my first experience with this. So it may just be a harder squash than the other squashes. Okay, because the butternut was much easier to cut in half. All right, then I got a little olive oil. I need salt and pepper too, so I'm going to walk over here and get the salt and pepper real quick. Maybe a little more. Just rub it around. Salt. Pepper. Let's do the other one, like so. They're only supposed to take 25 minutes, okay? 425 is a very high degree, so it should work. And they're small, on the small side. I don't see a problem with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven. Just a moment. The oven's preheated enough. It's been over 10 minutes, in fact. So I'm just going to put those babies in the oven and let them cook. And what else are we going to do? I'll tell you in a moment. We are going to make pumpkin pancakes from this puree. It came from a pumpkin even smaller than this one. That was starting to go bad around here, but it was still good. And I grew these pumpkins myself, so I enjoyed growing them over the summer. In fact, they came up before the fall, which really surprised me. And I thought I didn't plant them until early June. So that really surprised me that we had such a hot summer, though. That's probably why. So we'll get busy on these pancakes. Here's all the ingredients you'll need. You'll need, you need flour too, but I don't have it out here. So I'm going to reach down here and get my flour. I keep it in a coffee can, a clean coffee can for storage. I change it out every once in a while and just recycle these. Okay. I'm going to put that over there. Okay, you'll need flour. You'll need baking soda, baking powder. You need a little salt. And your spices, allspice, cinnamon, ginger, of course the pumpkin puree, an egg, brown sugar, a little oil, milk, and apple cider vinegar. Now this should be everything, including the flour that I have in a coffee container. All right, measure your dry ingredients, which is 2 cups of flour, and then your baking soda and baking powder and salt. And the recipe is from a previous video I did, but I can give you the recipe for this. Okay. Mix those together and get a spoon, a large spoon. Stir those together. Then you'll add your spices next, but they are dry also. I'll do those for you. I'll measure them directly for you here. So, there's my ½ teaspoon. Now, the allspice and the ginger, I'm just going to do, you do a little less than the cinnamon. The cinnamon's going to be a full teaspoon. Whoops. Hopefully we won't spill any here. Don't want to overdo it, although that would be good. Cinnamon's good. That's about right. There you go. Measure these. Ginger. Yay, I love ginger. There we go. That was a heaping. I love ginger. And allspice. There. Whoa, whoa. That was a tight squeeze there. Okay. So you stir your dry ingredients first. Then you add your wet ingredients. Now I've got a cup and a half of milk. I'm just going to put two tablespoons of vinegar. I believe that's correct. Yes. Apple cider. It gives it a good flavor. Okay. With the pumpkin puree. So we'll add that directly to your milk in this big measuring cup. This is for 2 cups. Then put your egg in there. It's 1 egg. Then we're going to beat that egg up in there. And you can use a fork or you can use a whisk. Smells like buttermilk. That's why the vinegar's there. Love it, love it, love it. We have our puree. And we have our brown sugar also. So those are going to be combined. Everything's going to be combined into the bowl with the dry ingredients. Right, you can combine the brown sugar with the puree, the 1 cup of puree. You need 3 packed. No, they don't necessarily have to be packed. Depends on how sweet you want it. 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Okay. And mix those up together. Then you're going to combine all 3 bowls together. You're going to put this first into there and then this. So I'll show you in a moment. Okay, just combined everything. Your wet ingredients. The puree with the brown sugar. And just mix it up real good. And we'll go from there. Eventually it's going to get into that frying pan with just a little bit of oil. See, I'm mixing it up real good. Before we get started on frying pancakes, I need to get the squash out of the oven. I'll give you a close-up of it in just a moment. All right, let's go ahead and put them on this platter to cool. I use this platter all the time. I keep it in a little pantry that I have, a little closet, like a pantry, and it stays pretty cool. The plate does. So I like to put anything hot on this to chill out for a while, because I don't have to work with these yet, and I can turn my oven off because we're going to be doing the pancakes next. The pancakes are for breakfast. These are for lunch. And we might use one of them for dinner also, or dessert. So, it's like prepping ahead for meals that you're going to have throughout the day. I do this all the time. They're extremely hot, and they are done. This is great. All right, they're going to chill out over here. I'm going to take them to another area of the kitchen right now, because we want to focus on the pancakes. And I need to get this pan out of the way and bring this pan. It's going to be doing our next cooking project for us, along with some oil that I misplaced. I'm going to reach over there and get it. Here's the oil. It's not going to take much, but you may have to add some as you cook more than 1 pan full of pancakes. So now it's time to get your griddle hot. So put a little oil. It called for a tablespoon. Well, I know it takes a little bit more than that, from my experience. Then turn your burner on and let that heat up. And spread it around a little bit like this. Let it heat up till it starts to bubble a little bit. I would keep it not as high as it goes, but between high and medium, I suppose. And then we'll be making our pancakes as soon as this gets hot enough. It just doesn't take long, maybe a minute or so, a couple minutes. So we'll see. And then we'll be putting our batter from this large spoon. We'll be dipping it into there and making pancakes, pumpkin pancakes. Now I've got it on medium heat, and I can see where it's starting to bubble a little bit, like little sparkles in the pan. Through the oil, you can see it. So I think it's time to do our first pancake. we go. There's one of them. I'm going to make it larger. This is for my husband and me. And I'm just going to do one batch right now. You can freeze it for a couple, you can freeze it, of course, but in a good sealed container, but you can refrigerate it for a day or a day and a half. A couple days maybe, at the most, I would say. And it might go bad if you wait any longer than that. So I like a smaller one. He likes a big one. But I'm going to make a third one because he might want to, knowing him. Now, I am low gluten, so I will not eat very many. So, make him another pancake. There we go. And then I'm going to watch it very closely, because one time I let him burn in a video. It was so embarrassing. I'm just going to do this for an illustration for you, because I don't really need more than this today, but I'm going to be frying up some more pancakes probably tomorrow morning. So I'll put that in a container in the refrigerator, and I just won't forget about it. And then, you know, you'll just stir it up to keep it blended well, because the ingredients may separate a little bit in the refrigerator. Let those babies fry till I think they're done, and then I'll turn them over. I'm going to try turning it over, one of them over, and it's fine. Yep. That was the smallest one. Actually, this is, so we'll turn this one over. There we go. They look good. This is the largest one. Scoot those away. Okay. I did spray the pan first too, just to be on the safe side. And I mean, I'm not going to add any more oil for this batch, but when you go do your next batch, you may need to add a little oil. Depends on what quality of griddle you have. I don't have a griddle, I have a frying pan. So with a griddle, you may use less oil, I believe. I'd like to get a griddle. We just don't have a lot of space in this kitchen for too many appliances, though. Or, you know, because griddles they take up some space. These are looking good. Once they're done on the other side, they should be done. I just turned them over, and they are browned on the other side, but I'm going to turn it down a little bit to ensure that they're cooked through all the way, because sometimes they can be a little doughy inside. Okay. These are looking good. I'm going to be putting them on a plate in a moment. Then we're going to work on the other squash. Pumpkins are technically squashes, I believe. I believe I heard that. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me. I think they're in the same family, or a very similar family. They look a lot alike. And there are some pumpkins that are definitely squashes and that get very large. The pumpkins that get the largest, from what I understand, are considered squashes. So there might be a slight difference between a pumpkin, an actual pumpkin, and an actual squash. There's all different forms of squashes and pumpkins, all different sizes. It's fascinating. I love growing them. And I love growing summer squash too, like zucchini. Yeah, these are done. So I'll just put them on the plate. I don't want them to burn. I did that in a video when I first got started on YouTube. Okay, put them on a plate or a platter. There you go. There's my husband's breakfast. He can put a couple slices of ham. We have deli ham in there. He could eat with that. We have some bacon, but it needs fried up. But here's what they look like. Yay. Don't they look delicious? And they are, too. And they're better for you because they have something really healthy. Pumpkin. You can use squash, any form of squash in this. I've done it numerous times. All right, let's store the rest of the pumpkin pancake batter in the fridge. Tomorrow, I'm bright and early, I plan on making the rest of these. If something comes up, I can wait until the next day. If something comes up after that, I'm putting them in the freezer, in this container, and it should be fine. So you just wait for it to thaw out, and you can freeze it. And you can read online the appropriate steps to take when freezing purees or batters, like pumpkin batter. There you go. Pumpkin pancake batter. That's it. I don't see any reason why it couldn't be. Yeah, it can be frozen. So, but we're going to put this in the refrigerator. That's what we're going to do. Hopefully tomorrow I'll finish up those pancakes. Now with the squashes that have already been roasted, you just See the spaghetti squash? It looks something like angel hair actually. So I see why they call it spaghetti squash. And you can make some kind of noodles with this if you have the right tool or gadget to do it. I want to get that for sure. These look really good. I just know they're not nearly as sweet as the butternut squash. So the butternut squash is going to be dessert. My husband loves it. His mother did this for years with just with brown sugar, butter and brown sugar. I don't think these need too much butter, but he'll want a little bit. Then you put them back in the oven. You put them back in the oven at the same time on a large pan. But these are going to have mozzarella on them. They're going to have, and I have a little recipe that I wrote down. It doesn't take much. A little sauce, like a little spaghetti sauce or a little tomato sauce with some spices like basil, parsley. What's the other one? Oregano. Yeah, and a little garlic powder maybe, or minced garlic if you like it. And with the mozzarella cheese shredded, or you could just put a whole, like provolone, you could put that on here, like thin slices of small, thin slices according to the size of the squash. Yeah. And 15 minutes at 425, and these will bake, and they'll be really delicious. You really don't need to bake them very long because they're already done. You just need to melt the cheese or the brown sugar. So this should be really good. We'll see. I guess I'm going to do it now. Let's do it. I'm not really following a recipe here, but I did shred some cheese. It's way over here. I don't think you can see it yet. You might catch a glimpse of it, but I did shred some mozzarella cheese, and it's right here. Now I'm using the sauce for the savory squash, Italian style spaghetti squash. This is from Aldi's. Reggiano. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the spaghetti squash. Okay, my husband loves this sauce. He doesn't really care if I add anything to it. He's not big on spices, but he does like a little garlic powder and maybe a little basil. So put some sauce on that. So you broke up the basil. All right, now just put the cheese, shredded cheese on those babies. Same pan, same parchment paper. I did turn the parchment paper over. There were some seeds I didn't want to get onto. Oh, it didn't really make that much difference. So these should cook just fine. I had to turn the oven back on. I didn't know. I thought I was going to make all the pancakes today. That would have taken some time. I didn't want the oven to be on the whole time. But I knew I was going to get back to this, and so far this is the most fun I've had. I love combining ingredients, good, wholesome ingredients together like this, and I love mozzarella cheese. And now these will be for lunch or dinner. This is their savory squash dish. These will be the dessert right here. Dessert or a good side dish. And these you can use for Thanksgiving. A lot of Italians, they might have a turkey, and they might also have lasagna or some Italian wedding soup. So you can combine, if you're of that ethnic background, you can combine different foods for Thanksgiving. But these butternut squash are amazing. They are sweet already without anything. But I know my husband would appreciate a little butter on these babies, so we'll do that. Although they have plenty of olive oil. There we go. Okay. There we go. Then we're just going to sprinkle a little brown sugar. We're going to keep it at that. These already have salt and pepper on them, so they already have good flavor going. I'll show you what they look like after I bake them for about 15 minutes, from my understanding. I might refer a recipe to you that I glanced over, because I just don't always work with recipes. For anything like the pancakes, yes, and I can reference that. But as far as cooking over the stove, I just pretty much do my own thing. I did have a Swedish meatball recipe the other day that, yeah, I had to use a recipe for that to get that right. We're going to put these in the oven in just a moment. Okay. Oh my goodness, these are going to be so good. I'm getting hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet. I guess I'm going to eat a pancake, and then later on I'm going to eat one of those squashes. Yum, yum, yum. The dessert squashes are done. They do not take as long. They only took about 10 minutes. They've already been pre-cooked, and you can cook these from from raw also. That's how his mother did it. So I did it a little differently. Yeah, she just cleaned them and put them in the oven for quite a while. And she put the brown sugar on ahead of time, but I waited until after I roasted them first. These are going to go back in the oven, these Italian style spaghetti squashes. Italian style. Oh boy, they're going to be so good. They need to brown more. As you can see, they definitely need to brown more. Okay. And we'll put those back in the oven. Here is a close-up of the butternut squash, and it will make a wonderful dessert for tonight. Or we may eat it earlier than that. We may split one and then eat one later together. It's fun to cook for your hubby, isn't it? All the women out there. And hubbies, cook for your wives every once in a while, especially Mother's Day, for example. Or Valentine's Day. Yeah, that would be nice. I'm just going to sprinkle a little extra brown sugar to make them beautiful. So here we are. Here we be. Woo, baby, they look good. Put them on that same platter that I used earlier, but I cleaned it. I washed it and cleaned it and dried it for a beautiful presentation. Now we're just waiting on the Italian style summer squash, and I can hardly wait. The Italian style spaghetti squash is done. It didn't brown as well as I hoped, but looks pretty good to me. So we'll pull those out. Turn that oven off. I did. Woo! Thanks for watching Lifestyles with Terry Lynn. I'm going to leave on a positive note by showing you what the food looks like. I might even do a little taste test on the Italian spaghetti squash. I can hardly wait. Oh. Whoa, look at that. Yum. Mmm. It's got eggplant, Parmesan beef, and it's even healthier because you don't have the breading. And this is completely gluten-free, but the pancakes aren't. I can eat as much of this as I like. I'm going to finish this baby for breakfast, I think. No, I'll save it for lunch, but it sure is good. Goodbye for now.